Hey guys, so another not so successful build, and the reason why that is because I wanted to combine kind of a bit the wrong things all into one build. So this is a dancing door, and dancing door, if you don't know, is a minion that takes the sword and uses that sword to, well, I guess to become a minion with that sword. And you get two of them with the dancing door. And another thing that I wanted to do was do Occultist mainly for the explosions, and because I'm doing Occultist to kind of benefit more, I would want, well, I did convert into purely cold damage because Occultists have, nearby enemies have minus 20 cold res. And Occultist also has choruses, so I thought I'm gonna go with Doedre skin. I really like Doedre skin, but I don't. I mean, I did Doedre skin build multiple times, and I don't think that I ever have had a good Doedre skin build. So yeah, this isn't a very good build either. So this is Occultist, minion Occultist with 6 courses. It has a lot of issues, so I'm gonna talk all about this build. I would not recommend to copy it. It was mainly designed to be a map clearer, speedy map clearer build, and not really focused for single target. I'm gonna talk about why single target is not really that great, but it can be done. And I don't have a lot of things min-maxed. This is only level 84. I still need to do a lot more things. I just did not want to do it because I'm just not enjoying this build, but I will show you how the build would look like more min-maxed. But before that, there is another side thing that I wanted to briefly talk about. I want to give a shout out to a fellow Path of Exile player who made his first game, and it's a mobile game, but he needs some feedback, so I'm hoping that some people would want to test this game and just try it out. It's a free game, and this game is kind of it is heavily inspired by Path of Exile's gem and link system. Like when you are GMP, you start shooting multiple projectiles. So in this game, you basically control, I guess, a ship, and then you fly and destroy blocks. And you can customize how the ship kind of works. You can buy new ships, you can buy new captains, you can let's just finish that. You get the money, and then you go and buy some stuff. You can buy different ships which have different let's say like different amount of gem sockets you can have. There is an example like here. You can create some very complicated I guess gun system, and as it is called miner gun builder. So you build the miner gun, and I guess you mine the things. Give it a try and write some feedback, and in general maybe you're gonna have some fun. So yeah. Oh, by the way, this is a mobile game, but I'm using BlueStacks to simulate the mobile game, and you may want to check options, which is here and here, the fat finger offset, because if you click on the ship, it is gonna shoot up so it doesn't hide. So you wanna check that first. So yeah, back to the build video. So maybe I'm just gonna name what this build is capable of, and it should be able to farm red tier maps pretty fast. You don't really need to do much, but the main issue, I guess, and I'm gonna mainly talk about issues because it's just a minion build. You kind of just follow your minions and wait for it to do all the job for you. So the main issue about this build is, well, first of all, it's squishy, but I'm only level 83, 84, and my idea was to curse and debuff enemies so much that they would basically not be able to hit me. And it doesn't quite work that way. I'm still getting hit quite frequently and often getting one shot. And I do have 6 courses with Doedre's skin. You can use like Doedre's effigy, which is not exactly a totem, and it doesn't scale with totem things. But it casts all the courses inside the body armor. Doesn't need to be linked. It is instant cast. It feels very smooth to use it. It doesn't have very high AoE, but since you can have 3 of them, they don't stack. You can have 3 of them to cover more AoE. It does seem to be enough, the AoE. I would say that if you want to build Doedre's dancing door, just don't use the skin. Just use some other body armor with more life, and just have blasphemy, temp chain, or something else just to get the explosions from profane bloom. And the rest, I'm building pure cold, so I'm using Triad Grip gloves, all the green. It's a bit difficult to get green sockets, but yeah, you get those. And then Dancing Door, all the support gems inside it will affect the minion. It doesn't scale with like spell damage or anything or attack damage, it does scale with minion damage. And the way you proc that, you have to get kills, but if you don't want to have another spell, by the way, that's another issue. If you use this body armor, you don't have another 6th link, so you can't really do much damage yourself, and you could have a decent helmet and use some other minions, but it really is lacking more sockets, as most of the minion builds. So the other way to get a Rampage, and you need 15 kills, is just use Writhing Jar. Each use will throw 2 worms, and you need to kill, well, 8 worms, which means quite a lot of flask needs to be used. And I thought that I can get away with just 1 Writhing Jar, maybe 2, but turns out I actually need 3. And the way I thought, you can actually regenerate them very easily. Like, look at that. I use all of these, pop the Rampage. That is happening. Can't really refresh. You kind of have to time it very well if you don't have more than enough of flash charges. You have to use it one by one. That's another issue. So it gives more time to regenerate, and the way I'm regenerating is actually pretty cool. The cluster jewel can give you this life flask gain 1 charge every 3 seconds. It is a hybrid flask, so it is counted as life and as mana flask. So you can also combine that with this one, mana flask gain 1 charge every 3 seconds, and you can stack multiple of these, and you can also get increased flask charges gain, which will affect how much charges you're getting from this passive regeneration effect. So I thought that I'm gonna combine these. You can also get Pantheon Power. Life Flask gain 3 charges every 3 seconds if you haven't used a Life Flask recently. So that's not really viable, but if you waste these flasks, like if you waste and you don't really summon it, and you have to, well, use it again, but you can't leave the map, then you can just wait and recharge it. But that wasn't enough, so I actually had to get a reduced flash charges used, and I got this belt. Obviously this isn't ideal belt. Another option would be to use what is it called, Marvelous Embrace? Yeah, Marvelous Embrace, but then you would have to use some other minion, and it's not enough to just use Karen Golem. But when you use it, you can see all the flash charges being used. It just has long cooldown, so you would need another minion that and not like skeletons. If you use skeletons, you're gonna summon multiple skeletons and you're just gonna drain all the flasks all at once, and it may not be what you want. So you're gonna have to experiment with that. If you wanna use another minion, you could use like summon skeletons or summon SRS. SRS wouldn't really work that well because this is a cold build. You could use I guess you can also use specters to do the killings. I did not really want to do that, and I'm using Karen Golem just to apply to proc the Feeding Frenzy and to apply the cold exposure, the weaker version, just to automate more things. I don't have any minion movement speed on my jewelry. I was crafting this ring. This is a Redeemer's ring which can roll minion damage. You can also get fractured ring, but if you want unset fractured ring, that's gonna cost over 100C immediately, and this seemed like a cheaper version. But I need to craft this augment life, just basically craft some minion damage, and to be able to craft you can bench craft minion speed, and you definitely want minion speed. They tend to move very slowly, and in all the clips you're gonna see I do have minion speed support gem inside the weapon, so they're gonna be much slower without that support, and you don't want that support for the I guess the most damage. Now the other issue is these swords like bounce off very far. By the way, they are using old version of Cyclone, so you can use multi-strike with that, and multi-strike would be the highest support gem, I guess, other than minion damage support. But I didn't really like using multi-strike because it just It repeats attack 2 times, and sometimes it kind of bounces off enemies in the wrong direction, or just goes off too far, or just gets stuck a bit longer, and it doesn't feel as good for the map clear for some reason. You may not want to use multi-strike for clear speed, you may want to use it, I don't know, it's up to you, just experiment. I would love to replace minion speed with increased AoE support gem, just for the map clear, and swap into concentrated effect for the single target. And also the minion is nearly immortal. It has, I believe someone told me, 99% damage mitigation. So you can kind of use damage on full life support as long as as your minions have enough leech and well, sustain, I guess. And you're never gonna see them dying. Even in pure elemental reflect maps, they don't really die. They don't really take much damage. Currently, I have damage on full life, melee physical damage, minion damage, elemental damage of attacks, pulverize because I wanted more AoE, and minion speed because I don't have any speed yet. And on the passive skill tree, I only have speed in here, and that's pretty much it, I think. Also, why Occultist and not Necro? Necro doesn't really give much. Like, Necromancer can give you +2 skill gems, minion skill gems, but this is not a skill gem, so it's not gonna be affected by that. And Necro is mostly just minion damage and nothing really specific for this, so I wanted explosions for the clear speed. It makes it quite a lot smoother and quite a lot more pleasant. I'm actually missing aspect of the spider as well. I should be able to squeeze an aspect of the spider if I place Enlighten in here. That would reduce the mana cost of Skitterbots and Hatred, which is by the way linked with Generosity. Skitterbots are to apply Chill and Shock. Shock is obviously more damage, and Chill slows enemies' action speed down, which then stacks with the Temp Chain. And then I got Enfeeble. Also, enemies chilled do less damage. Enemies chorus do less damage. So I thought that I should have enough mitigation, especially combined with other choruses, but it's not pleasant. It's really not pleasant. I would not recommend to add Doedre's skin to this, but if you do just use some other rare body armor with life, you would have easier time. You would have definitely easier time, and you could get more damage elsewhere. You wouldn't need to try to get as much life. Maybe even combine life plus ES, which could be viable. It's just I'm not sure how reliable that ES would be. You can do unarmed like face breakers. You can even use the hollow palm technique, but it's not gonna be a very viable build if you want to like play a hybrid summoner plus attack build. It's not gonna be very viable. I did that long ago. It did not really work at all, even for my standards. I think I did that as a berserker with face breakers. Now for the cluster jewels, I'm using obviously minion damage. This is not the perfect item, but you can actually use minions have 10% chance to deal double damage while they are on full life, and they are gonna be on full life like 99% of the time, let's say. So it should be pretty close to the best option, renewal. And then another one was the best option would be this one actually. Minions gain 5% of physical damage as extra fire. It's not ideal, but that probably would be more damage. And also minions deal 20% increased damage against ignited enemies, and since this would basically give them fire damage, they would also ignite bosses because they do tend to crit quite frequently. And then on medium clusters, you want the flask thing, you want Mender's Wellspring for flask recharge. I think only one should be enough, and another one is fasting to get increased flash charges gained. I am also using Poacher's Mark, and Poacher's Mark give me 100% increased flash charges. So if I kill stuff, by the way, killing worms do not grant flash charges for some reason. Yeah, it does not grant flash charges. As you can see, this is not getting filled. So you can't really sustain worm flasks by using worm flasks. Even with the Poacher's Mark and other things, it's not gonna charge our flasks. Also, flask effect does not affect how much worms it's gonna throw, at least according to Wiki. So you're always gonna be throwing only 2 worms. So your best option is to reduce the flash charges used and increase the flash charges gained through the passive regen. I did modify in PUB the Doedre skin because normally it does not correctly recognize this Doedre's effigy, and you need to hack PUB items. Now the damage in here looks pretty good. That's not even fully min-maxed. I believe the rings don't even have minion damage. But this is web aspect of the spider, and you could do more shenanigans. You could like corrupt the body armor to get all the cursors higher level, which may not give that much damage. Also thought that curse effect would give more damage, but it's not actually that much more. This is, by the way, this damage is not as consistent as I thought, because these dancing duo just bounce off enemies way too far while not hitting. They travel from point A to point B, and they cannot stop until they reach the point B, I guess. And after that they return back. So if the boss moves, it can be very annoying, if it, especially if it targets something else. You may even want to use Death Mark instead of like minion speed, or instead of something else, just to be able to focus it a bit more. I'm gonna include battle building in protocol, and you can analyze what I did. By the way, what I planned, not really what I have right now. Anyway, thank you for watching. Remember to check that game and give some feedback, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.